Mikal Bridges fixed the shot, then broke it again. If you haven't watched preseason or opening night, Mikal Bridges' shot has been the topic of discussion. Over preseason and the first regular season game, he's shooting 4 for 25 from 3 or 16%, and his shot form has really reflected those ugly numbers. Now, he did talk about why he made these changes. Ever since I got into the league, been trying to fix it back to when I was in college. When I came out of college, I tweaked it a little bit, and then my second year in the league, I had the hitch and try to build back from that. So after reading these comments, I was curious to see how he tweaked his shot and what the evolution of his shot really looked like. At Villanova, he jumped relatively higher than the average shooter and released the ball at or near the apex. This one's on a pretty late closeout, and he's still getting a lot of air on that shot. But his mechanics were relatively smooth. His shot was in one motion, and the most important thing was that he never released the ball significantly higher than his head. More on that later. Once he came to Phoenix, he started to develop a hitch in his shot, as he had mentioned. Now, it might be subtle when you watch it, but I'll slow it down as much as I can. As he's loading up, he'll bring the ball up and then out to get into his natural shooting motion, almost like if he went up to shoot it and then fake passed it, then remembered that he's trying to shoot it. So his load wasn't natural because he needed an extra movement to get to a comfortable place. But he fixed this by the following season. Instead of having his arms extend out on the way up, he extends them on his dip so that he can achieve one fluid motion. If you're having a hard time seeing it, here's a side-by-side of him with the hitch and then his shot the following season. On the left, his arms don't extend until the ball's at shoulder length, while on the right, he extends on the dip so that he could just go up in one motion. He kept this motion in Brooklyn too, with his arms extending out early so that they could naturally come back over his head. Yeah, his shot is a little funky, but those tweaks worked as he shot his career high of 42% in 2021 and has continued to shoot in the 37 to 38% range in his time in Phoenix and Brooklyn. So at this point, I really thought he had simplified his shot and was going to be a perennial shooter, which leads us to now. Even if you just look at his shot, it is all sorts of wacky. In his last season at Villanova, Mikal Bridges shot 43% on 6 threes a game, whereas in the NBA, he's only shot over 40% one time, albeit he's always hovered around a pretty good percentage. With that said, a 5% difference is still pretty significant, so I understand that he felt he could get better. The problem is, his new form is nowhere close to what he's looking to accomplish. Here's the side-by-side, and I just want you to focus on the ball height. On the left, he's setting the ball just over his head before his jump, but on the right, look at how high the ball is. That's not normal. And then you might also notice that his shot is a lot slower, which means the man has to jump higher to get it over the defender. I don't know who's condoning this, but it's fair to say that if Bridges wants to get back to his Nova form, this ain't it. Now, I saw some people say that he went back to his old shot in the second half against the Celtics. I do agree that it looks a little more fluid than his new shot, but his set point is still really damn high, which is the main problem anyways. However, it might be a sign that he's realized this isn't going to work and he needs to make some changes again. And I honestly feel bad for him because he's a great player and he seems like a really hard worker, so to create bad habits just sucks. I know that's only been preseason and one regular season game, but in all honesty, I just can't see the shot working in the long run. The best shooters today simply don't have a set point that high. Now, as the title states, Bridges has fixed the shot before, so I won't be surprised if he looks at the film and realizes that this isn't it. Otherwise, the Knicks are probably going to regret this trade.